Welcome students for second lecture of Microcontroller and Embedded Programming, that is MEP. Myself, Professor Archana Savgule, Assistant Professor from Information Technology. Before starting the lecture number 2, that is second lecture for MEP, we will revise what we learned in the lecture number 1, that is the last lecture. So this is a revision of lecture number 1 topics. So what we learned in the last lecture, we learn or we revise what is microcomputer, what are the different main components of the microcomputer, which includes CPU, input device, output devices, memory and system buses. Then we learn what are the different programming languages, that are machine level language, assembly level language and the high level language. Then we compare these three languages also. Now, what are the learning objective for lecture number 2? That is for today's lecture. We are going to learn what is a microprocessor, then we are going to learn what is a microcontroller, and then we compare microprocessor with microcontroller. What is microprocessor? It is a computer's CPU, that is central processing unit, which is built on a single integrated circuit, that is called the IC. That IC is nothing but the microprocessor. It is a programmable multi-purpose device which having its own clock, which having its own registers. It can read the data or the instructions from the memory. That means they accept this information as a binary information, which we call as the input. Then it process that data according to the instructions which we provide and give the result as the output. So it take the input, it process the data and give the output. That is a simple block diagram of the microprocessor, which we can see it have the input device, output device, memory unit and the CPU part, that is called the microprocessor part. Inside that we have the three important things: ALU, that is arithmetic and logic unit, then we have the control unit and then we have the register array. ALU, arithmetic and logic unit, which will perform arithmetic and logical operations on the data. Control unit, which control the processor generating the control signals, and then having its own registers where we can store the data from the memory during the processing of the data. So this is a simple view of the microprocessor. Now, when we go for the history or the evaluation for the microprocessor, depending upon their size, we can have the 5 different generations for the microprocessor. When we talk about the first generation, where they design simple microprocessor, that is 4004, which is 4-bit microprocessor. What 4-bit means? It can process only the 4-bit data at a time. The years for that evaluation of the microprocessor, 1971 to the 72. Then they increase the size of the microprocessor from 4-bit to the 8-bit. That is called the second generation of the microprocessor, which can process 8-bit data at a time. 1973 to 77. Most popular example of this generation is 8085. When we talk about the third generations, it is a 16-bit microprocessor, that is 886, which you learn in the COA last semester 4. It processes 16-bit data at a time. What is that year? 1978 to 84. Then it increased the size of the processing data from 16-bit to 32-bit. That is called the fourth generation of the microprocessor. Most popular example of the 32-bit microprocessor is 80386. The year for this 1985 to 94. When we go for the next generation, where processing speed is double, again 64-bit microprocessor. That means this type of the processor can process the 64-bit data at a time. Now when we are increasing the processing bit at a time, definitely we are increasing the speed or processing speed of the microprocessor, which is very important for the performance of your system. Most popular example of fifth generation is Pentium processor, which will start from 1995. Now we know that what is microprocessor. Now when we go for the microcontroller, it is again highly integrated chip which are designed to perform specific tasks. That's why most of the embedded systems using the microcontroller to control the things or to control the specific thing. It having its own processor, it's having the on-chip memory which include the RAM, ROM, EEPROM. It having its own input-output ports, timers, counters, serial ports on a single chip. So many things are available on a single chip. That's why microcontroller is called the highly integrated chip. Main function of the microcontroller is to control the specific thing. That why when we talk about embedded system is used to perform specific tasks. So these type of the systems are application oriented or the domain oriented. So most of the embedded systems having microcontroller to control the specific thing. It's a simple view of your microcontroller. It's having oscillator to generate the clock, which having the analog to digital converter, which having the microprocessor, which having the RAM, which having the ROM, and different peripheral devices which maybe include the serial ports, input output ports, and so on. Again, depending upon the size of the microcontroller, there are different types of the microcontroller. 8-bit microcontroller, most popular example of 8-bit microcontroller is 8051. What is the main function of microcontroller we know now? To process the data is not the important. What is important here? To control the things. So 8-bit microcontroller, it can process 8-bit data and it can be controlling the many things. Then we having the 16-bit microcontroller, the 8096. Then next is 32-bit microcontroller. Most popular example of 32-bit microcontroller is ARM, that is Advanced RISC Machine. In your syllabus, you are going to learn architecture of 8051 and ARM. That means you are learning the 8-bit microcontroller structure and 32-bit microcontroller structure with programming. It's a simple view or block diagram of the microcontroller where we can see different devices are present on a single chip. It having its own CPU, different types of memory, ADC converter, DAC converter, interrupt control circuits, and so on. So it is a highly integrated chip. So what are the main components of microcontroller? CPU, on-chip memory, on-chip input-output ports, on-chip serial ports, on-chip timers and counters, on-chip interrupt control units, and on-chip ADC and DAC. What is the ADC and DAC? Analog to digital converter, and DAC is digital to analog converter. Now, what are the advantages of microcontroller? It requires the low time for performing the operation. It is very small in size and it is more flexible. Next, because of the higher integration, cost and size of whole system is actually reduced because almost all the system on the single chip. It's very easily interface with the additional RAM and the ROM, means external memory, and input output ports. It is also easy to use, troubleshoot, and maintain the system as a simple. When we are talking about the disadvantages of the microcontroller, it cannot be easily interfaced with the highly powered devices. That means highly powered devices we cannot directly interface with the microcontroller. It has a more complex structure as compared to microprocessor because many things are present on the single chip. It only performs limited number of executions simultaneously. Means execution speed is limited as compared to the processor. It is generally used in the micro equipment, means small devices to control that things. Here I list out some applications of the microcontrollers. Light sensing and controlling devices like LEDs, temperature sensing and controlling devices like microwave oven, fire detection and safety devices like fire alarm, and measuring devices like voltmeters. Means many embedded system applications are using the microcontroller to control the devices or to control that application. Now here we are going to compare microprocessor and the microcontroller. First, functional units which are present on the chip in case of microprocessor. ALU, register, control unit. But when you talk about the microcontroller, it having the ALU, register, control unit plus on-chip RAM, ROM, input-output ports, timers, counters, serial ports, ADC, DAC. Means so many peripheral devices present on the single chip. Data transfer instructions are large number of instructions in the case of the microprocessor and less number of instructions in case of the microcontroller. Now when we want to design the microprocessor, its cost is high, but compared to that, if we want to design the microcontroller, the cost is low. Size of PCB is large in case of microprocessor if we compare with the microcontroller. When we talk about the weight, definitely processor is a bulky as compared to the microcontroller. Now when we talk about the speed, definitely microprocessor is faster than the microcontroller because processing of the data is a main function of the processor, and in the microcontroller, controlling the things are the main function of the microcontroller. When we think about the uses of the microprocessor, it normally used in the computing system, but in the microcontroller is used for the specific application. Efficiency in the case of microprocessor is less, but microcontroller efficiency is more. Power consumption is very high in the microprocessor as compared to the microcontroller. Microprocessor is less reliable to the system as compared to the microcontroller. Most popular example of the microprocessor is 8085 and 8086. It is 8-bit, 885 and 16-bit is 886. When you talk about the microcontroller, 8051 is a 8-bit microcontroller and the ARM is a 16-bit microcontroller. So what is the summary of today's lecture? We learn basically what is microprocessor, what is microcontroller, and what is the difference between the microprocessor and the microcontroller. To learn the 8051, you have to refer the textbook is Masidi, the 8051 microcontroller embedded system using assembly and C. And some references I mentioned here, that is the websites references which I use during the preparing the PPTs for this lecture. Now I want to say thank you for all my dear students. If you're having any question, you can ask me. This is small assignment you have to solve for the lecture number 2. Once again, I want to say thanks. Bye bye. Take care.